Welcome to another deep dive, and this time we're going to get into something we literally can't live without.
Oh, intriguing.
I'm talking about elements.
Elements, okay.
Yeah, the naturally occurring elements, like the fundamental building blocks of, well, everything.
Literally everything.
Yeah, on our planet and everything on it, even us.
Right.
So we've got some really interesting source material today
Yeah.
on, what exactly a natural material is.
Okay.
But getting a grasp on this topic is a little bit like, well, counting grains of sand on a beach, I guess.
That's a great analogy, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because sand itself is mostly made up of one of the 94 naturally occurring elements.
Oh, wow, 94.
94, yeah.
See, that's incredible.
It is.
Back in high school chemistry, I don't even think I memorized the first 20 on the periodic table.
Oh, right.
It's a lot.
It is a lot to take in. But the really cool thing is that these 94 elements, they're not just,
Just sitting there.
just sitting there passively. They have unique properties.
Yeah.
And they interact in really amazing ways to create the diversity that we see all around us.
So we're not going to go through the entire periodic table.
Not this time.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Instead of memorizing atomic numbers,
Right.
we're going to try to focus more on the bigger picture.
Okay.
Yeah, think of it more like exploring a vast landscape. So we won't be, naming every tree and rock, but we'll understand the different ecosystems.
I like that.
Yeah.
And how they kind of work together.
Exactly.
So what are the main ecosystems in the world of elements?
So I would say the broadest categories are metals,
Okay.
nonmetals, and metalloids.
Metalloids.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're probably familiar with metals.
Yeah, they're shiny, right?
They're shiny, good conductors of electricity.
Yeah.
And they can be very strong, like, copper and electrical wires.
Yeah.
Or iron used in construction.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What about non-metals?
So nonmetals are a more diverse group.
Okay.
They can be gases like the oxygen we breathe,
Right.
or brittle solids like sulfur, or even liquids like bromine.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a pretty diverse group.
All right, so then we get to metalloids. What are those?
So metalloids are the fascinating ones.
Okay.
They
What makes them so special?
they can have properties of both metals and nonmetals depending on the circumstances.
So they're kind of like the chameleons of
Yeah.
element world.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So think of silicon again.
Okay.
Silicon is actually the second most abundant element in the Earth's crust.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's mostly found in sand and rocks,
Okay.
but it's also what's called a semiconductor,
Okay.
which means it can conduct electricity under certain conditions, but not others.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that makes it absolutely essential for modern electronics.
Oh, so like without silicon, we wouldn't have computers and,
Right, no smartphones, no computers, even the microphones we're using right now.
So silicon is like the unsung hero
Yeah.
of the digital age.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like the foundation of so much.
It is, yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes me think about all the other elements out there.
Yeah.
How do we even begin to understand all 94 of them?
Well, one way is to think about them in terms of their abundance.
Okay.
So some elements, like oxygen,
Right.
are incredibly common. Like
Mhm.
oxygen makes up about 21% of the air we breathe.
Right.
And it's also a key component of water, which is, essential for all known life.
Right. Those are two things we definitely can't live without.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And then there are elements that are much rarer, like gold,
Gold.
platinum,
Right.
and their scarcity combined with their unique properties is why they're considered precious.
So I've got the abundant, the common ones, and the rare ones.
Right.
But I'm guessing there's more to it than just how much of them exists.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
What's really fascinating is how these elements combine and interact
Okay.
to form this incredible diversity of materials
Mm-hmm.
that we see around us. So think of, for example, sodium and chlorine.
Okay.
Individually, they're pretty reactive,
Right.
even dangerous.
Okay.
But together, they form table salt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, some we use every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It's like the elements are individual ingredients,
Yeah.
and then nature's the master chef.
exactly.
Combining them.
Combine them just the right way
Yeah.
to create something new and wonderful.
And those recipes are dictated by chemistry.
Exactly.
Oh,
The way
yeah.
elements interact based on their atomic structure and properties.
So it's not just about the elements themselves, it's about how they work together.
Yeah, precisely.
Okay.
And speaking of working together,
Okay.
there's one group of elements that play a particularly vital role.
Mm.
And we talk about how essential oxygen is.
Mm.
But there are others that are equally crucial. They're the building blocks of all living organisms,
Okay.
from the smallest bacteria to the largest whale.
So you're telling me we're made of the same stuff as stars and rocks?
In a way, yes.
Whoa.
Remember that stardust analogy?
Right.
Well, some of those elements created in stars billions of years ago
Yeah.
eventually found their way to Earth.
And became incorporated into living organisms.
Exactly.
So we're not just made of elements, we're made of recycled stardust. That's incredible. All right, tell me more about these life-given elements. What makes them so special?
Well, I'd say the star of the show, so to speak, is carbon.
Carbon. Okay.
And it's the backbone of all organic molecules, including DNA, proteins, and carbohydrates.
Okay.
So it's the element that allows for the complexity and diversity of life as we know it.
Okay, so carbon's like the foundation.
A foundation, yeah,
All right, what about the rest of the team?
right.
What are these other elements like contribute in?
Well, think about it this way. Carbon is like the framework of a house,
Okay.
provides the basic structure,
Right.
but you need other materials to make it a functional home.
Okay.
That's where elements like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur come in.
Right.
They're like the walls, the plumbing, the electrical wiring, and everything else that makes the house livable.
So they're essential, but like in a different way than carbon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So take hydrogen, for instance. It's the smallest and most abundant element in the universe.
Wow.
And it plays a critical role in countless biological processes.
Right.
For one thing, it's a key component of water,
Yeah.
which is essential for all known life.
Right.
It also helps to form the bonds that hold DNA molecules together.
Okay, so hydrogen's a multitasker.
It is, yeah.
All right. What about nitrogen?
So nitrogen is crucial for building proteins,
Okay.
the workhorses of our cells.
Right.
And proteins are involved in everything from transporting oxygen in our blood to fighting off infections.
Wow.
And nitrogen is a key ingredient in amino acids, the building blocks of proteins.
So we need nitrogen for like building and maintaining our bodies.
Exactly.
Okay, what about phosphorus? I know it's in fertilizer, so I'm guessing it has something to do with growth.
You're on the right track.
Phos-
Phosphorus is essential for cell growth and energy transfer.
Okay.
It's a key component of DNA and RNA,
Right.
the molecules that carry our genetic information.
Right.
It's also found in ATP,
Mhm.
the molecule that provides energy for cellular processes.
So phosphorus is like a real powerhouse,
It is, yeah,
keeping everything running.
pretty much.
All right, what about sulfur? Where does that fit in?
So sulfur is important for giving proteins their shape
Okay.
and helping them function properly.
Okay.
It's also a component of some vitamins and hormones.
Okay.
Think of it as the element that helps to fine-tune the intricate machinery of our cells.
I'm starting to realize just how complex and interconnected life really is at the molecular level.
Yeah, it is.
It's mind-boggling to think that these elements, some of which we might consider simple or even dangerous on their own,
Right?
can combine to create something as intricate and amazing as a living organism.
It really is remarkable.
It really is.
And it highlights the fact that we're not just separate from nature,
Right.
we're a part of it.
Yeah.
The same elements that form stars and planets also flow through our veins
It's true.
and make up the very essence of who we are.
That's a powerful thought.
It is.
We've talked about the common elements, the life-giving essentials. Are there any other elements that play like surprising or important roles in our lives that we haven't touched on yet?
Definitely. There's a whole category of elements that often get a bad rap.
Wow.
The radioactive ones.
Okay, yeah.
People tend to associate them with danger and disaster.
Yeah.
But the truth is, they can be incredibly useful,
Really?
even in medicine.
Radioactive elements in medicine, that sounds a bit counterintuitive.
Do you know, right?
Yeah.
But think about it.
Okay.
Radioactivity is simply the process of an unstable atom releasing energy
Okay.
to become more stable.
Right.
And that energy can be harnessed for a variety of purposes, including diagnosing and treating diseases.
Okay, so how does that work?
Well, certain radioactive isotopes,
Okay.
which are basically atoms of an element with different numbers of neutrons,
Okay.
can be used as tracers in medical imaging.
Okay.
They emit radiation that can be detected by special cameras, allowing doctors to see inside the body and diagnose a wide range of conditions.
So it's like giving the doctors X-ray vision,
Exactly.
but with radiation instead of light.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And radiation can also be used to treat cancer
Oh, wow.
by targeting cancer cells with
Mhm.
high doses of radiation.
Yeah.
Doctors can damage their DNA and prevent them from multiplying.
That's incredible.
It is.
So even these elements that we often perceive as dangerous can
Yeah.
have life-saving application.
Exactly.
It seems like the more we learn about elements, the more we realize just how versatile and important they are.
Absolutely. The study of elements is a journey of endless discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Each element has its own unique story to tell,
Right.
its own role to play in the grand scheme of things.
Speaking of stories, earlier you mentioned that if you had to choose a favorite element, it would be technetium.
Oh, right. Yeah.
What's so captivating about technetium?
Well, for one thing, it's a bit of an enigma.
Oh,
It's the lightest element that has no stable isotopes,
okay.
meaning it's always radioactive.
Wow.
It's also incredibly rare in nature.
Huh.
In fact, it was the first element to be artificially produced.
So it's kind of like the rebel of the element world?
You could say that.
Yeah.
But despite its rebellious nature,
Okay.
technetium has found a valuable place in medicine.
Okay.
One of its isotopes, technetium-99 meter,
Okay.
is widely used in medical imaging procedures because it emits gamma rays that can be easily detected
Right.
and has a relatively short half-life,
Okay.
which means it decays quickly and minimizes the patient's exposure to radiation.
It sounds like technetium is a great example of how even the most unusual elements can have surprising applications.
Exactly, and it brings us back to a point we touched on earlier.
Right.
The interconnectedness of everything. The elements that form stars, planets, and even our own bodies are all part of a grand cosmic cycle of creation and transformation.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? What's the next step in our journey of elemental exploration?
Well, I think it's time to shift gears a bit and dive into a thought experiment.
Okay.
Earlier, we were talking about how elements have unique properties
Yeah.
that determine their roles in the world.
Right.
What if we took that a step further and thought about those properties as superpowers?
Superpowers.
Yeah.
Intriguing. I'm listening.
Imagine if you could choose one element to be the superhero of your life.
Okay.
Which element would you choose and why?
Phew, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can answer that right away.
It's not easy.
It's not just about picking your favorite element. It's about thinking about its properties and how they might translate into a superpower, like in a more metaphorical sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a fun way to think about the elements and their potential, both in the physical world and in our own lives.
Okay, I'm game. Let's play this element superhero game. But first, I think we need a moment to gather our thoughts. Okay, I've had some time to think about this element superhero thing.
Yeah?
And it's really got me thinking.
Yeah.
I'm drawn to the idea of an element that represents adaptability and resilience, you know?
Those are excellent qualities to consider.
Yeah.
There are definitely a few elements that embody those characteristics.
Like what?
What comes to mind for you?
Well, earlier we talked about oxygen,
Right.
and it exists as a gas, a liquid, and part of countless compounds.
Right.
You know, that kind of versatility seems pretty powerful to me.
Yeah. Oxygen is certainly a strong contender.
Yeah.
Its ability to adapt to different environments and play so many vital roles is remarkable.
Yeah.
Imagine an element superhero who can seamlessly transition between different forms, always finding a way to contribute and support those around them.
That's a fantastic image.
Yeah.
But I'm also intrigued by elements like carbon. We talked about how it forms the backbone of all organic molecules,
Right.
making it the foundation of life itself. So maybe its superpower would be the ability to connect and build.
I love that interpretation.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Carbon is the ultimate networker,
Yeah.
forming bonds with other elements to create an astonishing diversity of compounds. A carbon superhero would be a master architect,
Mm-hmm.
able to assemble intricate molecules and build the very building blocks of life itself.
This is so much fun.
It is.
I'm picturing like a whole team of element superheroes.
Right.
Each with their own unique abilities and strengths.
Exactly.
We've got oxygen, the adaptable transformer,
Right.
and carbon, the master builder. Who else would be on this team?
Well, if we're talking about resilience, we can't forget about gold.
Oh, gold. Yeah.
Yeah, it's highly resistant to corrosion
Right.
and has remained virtually unchanged for centuries.
Right.
So a gold superhero would be the ultimate protector, shielding others from harm and standing the test of time.
And gold is also known for its conductivity.
Oh, that's right.
Both of electricity and heat.
Yeah.
Maybe its superpower could also include the ability to, channel energy and facilitate connections.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Gold's ability to conduct electricity makes it essential for electronics. Imagine a superhero who can harness the flow of energy,
Right.
powering up devices and creating pathways for communication.
This is incredible. We've gone from, exploring the basic properties of elements to envisioning a whole universe of element superheroes.
I know.
It's amazing how A simple thought experiment can spark such creativity
Right.
and open up new ways of thinking about the world around us.
That's the power of curiosity and imagination.
Yeah,
And it shows that there's always more to learn, more to explore,
right.
even when it comes to something as fundamental as the elements.
Yeah, I think our listeners are going to have a blast with this Element Superhero Challenge.
I think so too.
It's a fantastic way to engage with the periodic table in a whole new way. And who knows, maybe it will inspire someone to, make a comic book or even a movie
Oh, yeah.
about element superheroes. The possibilities are endless.
They are.
Well, Element Explorers, we've reached the end of our deep dive for today.
Whoa.
But the journey doesn't end here.
Keep going.
I hope this episode has sparked your curiosity about the elements
Yeah.
and inspired you to see the world around you with a fresh perspective.
Absolutely.
Remember, everything you see, touch, and even breathe is made up of these incredible building blocks. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep marveling at the wonders of the elements.
Well said.
And don't forget to ponder that element superhero question.
Yes.
Which element would you choose and why?
I'm excited to hear what people come up with.
Me too. Until next time, happy element hunting.